Okay, so today we have our first session of marketing, right? So some of the topics that we are covering for today and tomorrow is introduction to digital marketing. So where we are looking at the different online marketing channels, the journey of the online customer, because the online world is slightly different from the physical world. And then we are looking more into WordPress itself and how to set up WordPress and how to go ahead with the different tools of WordPress so as to set up your own landing pages, etc. Right? So these are the two things that we are going to discuss over today and tomorrow. So we'll be covering introduction to digital marketing over today and tomorrow itself. Now, this session of digital marketing is really interesting. This is really interesting. It's something that we have not really looked at before, and it makes it all the it gives you a lot of insights into some things that were not really so well known actually. Now let's look at the different channels of digital marketing itself. This is something that we have seen in the past. Let's look at it once again before we get started. Okay. Uh, the first thing that we look at is that we have got this. You need to plan your entire digital strategy, and that is where we are re-looking at the screen even before we get started actually. So you have on one side you have the search engine marketing in the center, which is one of the largest enabler of digital even today, and it is high in terms of conversion. So even if you have a small amount of audience coming over search onto your site and thereby onto your site or something, they discover your brand out over there, they discover your services out over there. Still there are people whose inherent need for that product or services is so high that if you're offering the right solution, the conversion ratio is also really high out over there, right? Unlike uh, the Facebook marketing itself, where you have where you have the you are reaching out to your customers, right? They may or may not be in need of your solution or service, or the need may not be that high. When they're coming on search, the inherent need at that point of time is really high. So social media works well. You're able to reach out to customers even before they're thinking about you. The conversion ratio is slightly lower, but the reach is a lot more higher over there, right? And you're tapping on people who may not have a very immediate need, but they still have a slight amount of need. There's something on the back of their mind, and that really works well for you. SEO and content, the one in red in the center over here, is different from search engine marketing. When we say search engine marketing, we are talking about the paid marketing. And with paid marketing, you're able to come on the top of the Google search engine and attract a lot more of the audience out there. However, the organic part still remains really, really important because people are influenced by that particular set of things. So you have the Google reviews at the bottom, the affiliate marketing, the retargeting. So the retargeting display ads is a part of search engine marketing. But you have the blog, the reviews, and the affiliate, which still form a very important component of the entire. It's where the entire marketing gets started, and then you move on to search engine marketing, and on the other side of the metrics you have the entire digital marketing, the social media marketing itself, right? So these are the different things that we'll be looking at. Now, how do you get started? You need to start off with your own site. That's very important because you want to get your entire traffic onto your site. You want your site to be your digital brand ambassador for you. The idea is to have one place where you can get your entire traffic over, and with the traffic coming over, then you can decide how to engage with your audience thereafter. Blogs form a very important way for you to get your traffic onto your site. Blogs enable people to think, they are able to understand the way you think, the products, how they are designed, how they are planned, how they are created for your end user. And with that understanding, users can further engage with your products, actual products and services. Okay. Now let's look at the search itself. Yes, you need to have an online presence. The entire marketing is primarily first about having an online presence, a strong online presence. So you don't even need to look at marketing initially. What you need to look at in the first few months is that does your brand have a strong online presence? Yes or no, that's it. So how do you get a strong online presence? Yes, you need to have a very good presence in online search, in Google search itself. It has to be organic. Then paid ads need to be there, display ads, shopping ads, depending on what your product or service is. You need to plan out what kind of search presence you're going to have on Google itself. Social channels, very important. You need to have your presence on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, etc. Then you have the social bookmarking sites. Now social bookmarking sites are very big in today's world. You need to go and share your links out there so that it can be people are using many of these bookmarking sites to understand what's up right now. They are able to post their comments, they are able to post their reviews out there, they are able to engage with your site. If your article has got a very good response, then automatically these social bookmarking sites deliver lot more higher traffic onto your particular site. So you need to be out there. There are some very good. Twitter is also one of the social bookmarking sites over there, because you get to retweet or reshare the link out there, right? PR sites for articles and press releases. You can submit articles on a regular basis. Just give me a minute. Then you have the social bookmarking sites itself. Then PR sites, and which are important. You need to write articles like you do it for your blog, but here when you're doing an article submission to article submission sites, they expect the article to be neutral. It doesn't need, you can be comparing 4-5 products, 4-5 services, 4-5 different things. Maybe you have something like, in your case, different ways of doing a particular dental treatment. But you don't talk much about your company, etc., because then that becomes more of a self-publicity article. So here you do a decent thing, and in the reference sites you may give some reference to your own site, etc. But that's how articles work. You establish yourself as an authority, and thereby, since you are associated with your own organization or your website, people do travel down to your website to find out more about you and so on, actually. But a very good way of generating a lot more authority for yourself in that particular area. Question and answer sites such as Quora, Stack Overflow. People are asking lots of questions on Quora. Stack Overflow is for the programming world. Every industry has got certain for its own. So you can go out there and get yourself linked. Answer questions of lot of people out over there. You can even have different accounts when you're yourself asking the question and then you're using the other account to answer it and so on. Works really well, because when you ask a question or when you answer a question, it's being shared with multiple users out there, which in turn gives you a lot of visibility, a lot of traffic of its own, actually. Then you have video channels, YouTube, Vimeo, etc. YouTube, you can, on your description of every video that you post, you can have backlinks created. It's really good to have a video content out there, because if there's no one in your category having videos out there, you get automatic listing on Google search and so on, actually. PDFs, infographics also make a lot of sense out there, right? Then you have referral marketing. You need to plan out referral marketing. So if someone is giving you a referral, can you give them more, can you give them some incentives? Can you give them some value? Affiliate marketing needs to be worked out, because these are people who are going to be your influencers. So they need to be having a reason to influence you, a reason to refer you, So you need to plan it out. You need to go and do guest blogging. There are lots of sites for every industry where you're allowed to go and do guest blogging. Be a guest blogger, share your article over there. They need to be unique articles. You cannot have the same article being shared everywhere. At least the content needs to be reworked to make it look unique, because otherwise Google search does not give you the value that you would otherwise need to get for that particular article. Guest commenting. There are lots of bloggers of your similar type already sharing articles on your topic. Go out there, congratulate them, appreciate them, share a link back about your own article that you have written on similar lines. So whatever it is, guest commenting. These are a few activities that you need to do to before you get started, even with digital marketing, because you need to have a strong online presence. Period. That's it. You don't need to think too much about it. You don't need to work too much about it. You just need to have something going on out there in a very structured manner, in a very regular manner. Maybe 2 articles a month, 1 article a month. You decide your frequency. Maybe 4 posts on social media, 2 posts on email. You decide your frequency based on your time and availability, but keep it consistent. You may reduce the number of posts or increase the post depending on your own time availability, but be consistent with your post out there, right? This is something that's a basics even before we get started with digital marketing, right? Now we have this interesting topic on the customer journey itself. Here we were looking more about having our own presence. We were not looking at the customer side of things. We were looking at our own side of things about how we need to be there out there. But for a visitor who is coming onto your site, he is not so concerned about it, right? He is concerned about his needs. So when you're planning to post articles, etc., you could look into the customer's journey even before you get started in the digital world out there, right? What is that the customer does? Now, the customer journey, what is it? It actually describes each and every encounter a customer has when interacting with your brand or service. Now, this may be direct or indirect. So it may be on your side, it may be on someone else's side, it may be at your clinic that they are interacting with, it could be on the phone that they're interacting with your team, it could be anywhere and everywhere. But this entire experience, when it comes together, that's the brand experience that we talk about. That's what makes a brand. The brand experience makes a brand. So your brand is a good brand or a bad brand based on the experience that the customer has had with your brand across the various touch points. Okay. Now, uh, if the entire experience right from the start to the end is very good, that's where they start becoming influencers for your brand. The brand advocacy kicks in. They start referring you to other customers. They start even writing about your brand on their own personal blogs and things like that also, right? So it's something which is very, very important for you to have. So you need to plan your customer journey. What is that the customers, when he comes onto your site, what does he get? What are the keywords on based on which he's coming on? What are the other related articles that you're positioning in the bottom of the page, etc., so that he can move from there to the next funnel of yours? How does he move from the process of awareness to a consideration, to a actual purchase, right? So what are the different things that you can plant over there in every step of his journey so that he's able to navigate from page to page? Is your website designed in that particular manner? Are your articles done in that particular manner? Are you telling him where to go? What is the next step of action that he needs to take? Has it been really planned out? No, it takes certain amount of effort to get this thing done. You may start with something simple instead of aiming to be perfect right on day one, and slowly and slowly and slowly keep relooking at your less set of activities and replan it out. So you may not get it first in the first place. So you need to do at least 7 to 8 journeys of planning before you actually get your customer journey really, really correct. But start somewhere, keep relooking at it, keep redoing it again and again, right? Now, each interaction with the brand is an experience. We all agree on that, is it not? The customer does not view the. Uh, just give me a minute. There's one more participant who is trying to log in. You'll have to give me a minute. Yeah. Let me just reshare the link with one of the participants who's unable to join into this meeting right now. Yeah, so we are back, Anisa, once again. So this end-to-end customer journey, right? It has to be each interaction with the brand is experience. That's what we spoke about, right? Now, if there is even a single negative communication that happens, a customer would stop in his track. He may be wanting to buy and suddenly he sees something, he may stop. If there is a one bad testimonial out there, he may not buy. So you need to look at uh, how the customer buys. He doesn't buy the way we want him to buy. He has got his own methods of buying, right? Now let's just look at this kind of example out here. Uh, we have the we expect the customer that he comes onto our site, looks at the product, takes out his card, and maybe buys a product. Or maybe he hears out our communication, he reads what we have to offer, and then he decides to go for it immediately. That's not how it happens in the online space, right? So here you have the customer looking at your product. He may go on to find out what are the reviews for your particular brand in the Facebook or maybe Google review, or maybe find out if there are any complaints against our brand out there, or whether what people are talking about your product in the list in the article shown out over there itself. So on Practo, people have different doctor ratings and so on and so off, right? So there are different ways that he may go and talk to one of his friends who is one of the experts in buying of a certain product and ask him whether this is the right way to go or what he should look at and so on, right? Before he comes to a decision. And at the same time, you have some of the other offers going on to him. So he may look at that particular thing, or he may wait for certain offers to come across and then make that decision to buy or not buy. So there's a process of buying. The process of buying itself may be short, may be long for various users, right? So some cases, the buying cycle is really high. Uh, now, in certain cases, the buying cycles are short. So if for every industry, for every product, for every service, the buying cycles are different. The way users interact with the brand is different, right? Uh, now, this is something which is there. Sailesh has also joined as Anisha, right? So it's something good to get started there. Okay. Now, we have two more participants who have not joined us. Shailesh, can you hear me? You have a chat window where you can type, or you can WhatsApp me in case you're able to hear me, right? It's going to be a one-way communication where I'm going to be talking, and if you want to interact with me, you will be needing you need to use the chat window, right? Okay. Now, wonderful. So, what we were discussing, Shailesh, just to take you a step back, is that we were looking at the digital process itself. Uh, you need to have a strong online presence even before you get started with digital marketing. And for having a strong online presence, you need not think too much. You just need to be present out over there. That's it. So have have your website in place, have your social channels in place, have your handles in place. Keep posting on a regular basis your blog articles, one article, two article a month. You decide it based on your time availability, budget, resources, etc. But keep posting out over there, and also have a mix of paid marketing in terms of your PR, in terms of your events, in terms of your print, radio, and TV ads, display ads, etc. And get your entire traffic onto one place, which is basically your website. So we have listed some of the channels which are there out over here, and the some activities that you need to do. You can get the recording once again to hear it out. We also have the customer journey itself, and this customer journey is unique. The customer, depending on who your audience is, they have their own way of looking at things and purchasing. They really don't come out over there and have a straightforward way that we expect them, come understand us, buy us out. That's not the way it typically happens, right? In many cases, people, they come, they interact with your brand. They have got different levels of interaction, maybe over the phone or maybe in person, maybe on your website, maybe with the Facebook pages that you have out there, the reviews that people have posted on Facebook. They have different experience at each level, and each of these experiences are actually, they are forming opinions about your brand, either good opinions or bad opinions, right? So you need to look at each of these holistically, and you need to plan it out. You need to plant it out in a way that they have positive experiences for your brand, right? Now, why have a customer journey mapped out? Why do you need to map it out even before you get started with digital? It helps you as an organization understand how your customers travel through the entire sales process, how they feel during their time there in each of these places. When they're talking on the phone, how do they feel? When they are on your website, how are they feeling? When they are on your Facebook page, how do they feel? When they are on your Google reviews, how do they feel, right? They need to feel good and comfortable at all these times. So you need to plan it out, really speaking. And then it provides you two major benefits. It allows the decision makers to stay focused on customers. At your end, when you are doing your entire content of marketing, you can stay focused on your customers. And it helps make each step of the buying experience easier for your potential lead. Since you're planning it out really out there, it makes it easy for your people to come and have a good experience out there, right? The experience is all it matters, and that's where brands get created. Now, the impact of the customer experience on loyalty itself, right? So one is that customers are likely to repurchase if their experience is really good. Their repurchase rate is also going to be extremely high. 86% people come back and buy if their experience has been really excellent. Whereas if they have a very poor experience, then you have less than 13% coming out there and wanting to repurchase your product, right? So, Sailesh, your is into selling of mangoes, and he has one of the top high quality mangoes out there. The product is really good. If the entire experience of buying also is good, then people are going to really keep purchasing the product again and again and again, and even refer it to others, right? So you even have customers who are likely to recommend. Now, how would you recommend? If your experience is really, really good, you will recommend it to others, right? So that holds for any and every product or service out there. And the trust factor itself, because if the trust is high, then you keep coming back. That's where you recommend, you keep repurchasing and all those things, right? So when you have a Reliance brand on one side and the Tata brand on the other side, you are likely to trust Tata a lot more than Reliance. Of course, even with the Mukesh Ambani Reliance, the trust factor is really high as of today compared to what it was earlier, right? But it comes over a period of time. It comes with the various experiences that you have had with the brand. That's where the trust develops. Tata is far more older brand, so the trust is already in place. Reliance is a comparatively new brand, so trust is getting slowly and slowly in place, right? But it all matters about the experience that the people get, and that's where the journey needs to be really planned out. It should not be that it happened. It has to be really planned out in terms of marketing itself. Uh, Now, how do you map your customer journey with your product or services that you offer? So you need to map it out, right? It doesn't happen on its own. So you need to go back to your 20/80 rule that we have, which says that 20% of your customers give you 80% of your business. So with this 20/80 rule in place, can you list out your 20% of your customers who are giving you 80% of your business? And with those 20% of your customers, can you build your customer persona in place? So what is the age of the customer who typically buy your products? Uh, what is the customer's income? So in case you have products where multiple people with multiple ages also come and buy, then you still need to map out, you need to map out multiple customer personas in that case. So with a particular set of age groups, so maybe people between the age of 25 to 35, what is their income, what is the type of the customer, are they direct buyers, resellers, distributors? Now the customer persona need to be different. So for direct buyers you need to make a different customer persona. For resellers you make find out who are the 20% of resellers in the reseller segment itself who are giving you 80% of your business and make their persona separate. In case you have distributors, list down the distributors, find out 20% of distributors who are giving you 80% of your business and make their persona separately. Okay. For each segment, you need to make a separate customer persona itself. Look at the age, look at the income, look at the thinking class. Are they people? Thinking class again comes in two categories: perceived versus reality. Perceived is that they want to be in that class, right? They believe that they are in that segment. Today maybe they are not, but they still believe that they are in the segment, and that's the kind of products they like to consume. If they want to consume, they will consume those kind of products, or they may not consume anything at all, right? So look at both kind of thing, perceived versus the reality. Look at both and plan it out. Look at the education background. Look at the residential complex where they typically stay. So for those 20% who give you 80% of their business, you need to ask them certain questions and find out these things. If you really don't understand or don't know, then you can go back and ask them where do they stay, or maybe when they walk into your complex or walk into your Anisa is into having her own dental clinic, right? So when they walk into your clinic, you may have a fill-up form where they need to fill up their name, address, gender, certain other things that you want to know about them, etc. Some things you need to ask because that may not be right to ask in a questionnaire, but some things you may have them pre-fill it so that you don't really need to ask them itself, right? Then the liking for technology itself, because you're looking at digital. So are they present in the digital channels? If they're not present in the digital channels, then it's a challenge. Or you will need to go back and find out who are present in digital channels and make a persona of them itself, right? So you need to look at offline customers and online customers separately. Offline have a different customer journey map for them so that they also have a good experience for your product. For those who are present in the technology space, that's where we are discussing a lot of things out over here. And there you need to find out how many percentage of your customers are in the technology space and what are the things that would make them get more of such customers. If you're able to understand them well, then you can go out and get more of those kind of customers in plenty out there. Uh, their mode of travel, do they travel internationally or are they traveling locally? Do they travel by train? Do they travel by bus? Or do they travel by plane? What do they value more, the ease, convenience, or the money? So if they value the money more, then it's going to be slightly, then you need to have a different approach out over there. Maybe you need to give discounts or add value to your product and things like that. But if they value ease and convenience, they value that view, then you may need to work out certain things like building an app for them so that they can place their appointment request over the app, or maybe they can do an online ordering, or maybe they can go to a portal like Flipkart and Amazon and maybe get your product, or maybe they can find you over Practo. So if they value ease and convenience, give them the ways to reach out to you. Maybe give them what is the preferred mode of payment. Do they prefer to pay by card, or do they prefer to pay by cash? Do they prefer to pay by check? So look at the preferred modes of payment. All these things give you a lot of understanding. So maybe when you ask them fill up a form, you can ask them the preferred mode of payment. You find that maybe all the 20% of your customers prefer to pay by credit card. So whenever you see that person is opting for credit card and things like that, you automatically know that he is your customer persona. Selling becomes a lot more easy. The communication becomes a lot more easier. Maybe you find that most of your customers come from upmarket residential complex. Moment you understand that this customer, just ask him, "Hey, where are you coming from? Are you coming from far?" No, I'm coming from this area. Okay, you understand that he's more of your customer fit out over there, right? So these questions help you to understand your customer fit. Even when we do our campaigns, we are able to choose some of these as our demographics, interests, and behaviors. And based on that, we are able to target those like-minded or those custom audience, which is a fits in these certain categories that you have been able to define as your customer person. You can have 20 more things added over here in terms of their martial status, marital status, their number of children they have. You may have n number of other things added over here, whether they live in a joint family or nuclear family, uh, n number of things. Just keep putting it out over there. Don't think first. You start seeing patterns, and that's where you need to pick up those patterns and use those patterns thereafter. Initially, while planning your customer persona, don't think. Just keep adding different parameters and just see whether there's a pattern in those 20% of customers who give you 80% of business. If you're able to see a pattern, that's where it becomes handy tool for you down the line, actually, right? Uh, the other way that you do your mapping of customer journey online is by looking at your analytics. If you already have a website in place, then you can look at the behavioral flow. We'll be covering that when we look at analytics once again. And then you have conversion goals that we set up. There also you can look at whether people are going through a certain flow before they actually go and purchase your product. So these two things can be looked at in the analytical way to look at what kind of customers fit into your category of 20%, giving you the 80% of your business in the digital space. And then we look at the anecdotal research also in terms of what are they thinking. So in the in the offline world, what are they thinking is going to be slightly different about what are they thinking in the online world, right? But how do you find out what are they thinking in the online space? So you look at social media, what kind of likes they have given, the kind of comments they have given, how they are interacting with your brand. Are they complaining about certain things? So can you go and correct it immediately and let him know that you have corrected it? So whenever they have something to communicate, they do come out on social media, they do come out on Google reviews and share their reviews. Now I've seen many companies shutting off the reviews itself because they don't want negative reviews. People don't come and typically give positive reviews, but when it's negative, they do come easily and give it. But shutting off itself is not a way, because you will not be able to find out what they're thinking. You'll not be able to correct yourself. Have survey forms created. You can use Google. Google has also got its own Google Forms. So you can use Google Forms to send out surveys, to create survey forms, ask them few questions. Once they have purchased your product, or before they purchase your product, or when they're in the journey of purchasing your product, you can send out these survey forms and understand what they're thinking, so that you can plan your journey or the experience in that particular manner itself. And then you have heat map tools like Crazy Egg, Visual Website Composer, etc., which actually looks at where people are clicking on your entire web page. So based on that, also you can gauge what they are thinking on your page. When they are on your page, how are they there, where are they clicking, etc. We will be looking at how to even implement some of these tools as we go along in our 12-day program. And so you can be comfortable. So you don't need to worry about what is survey forms, what is heat map tools. I'll be sharing how to do it also for you. So that's something that we will be covering in this entire journey, right? Step by step, we'll be covering it. So far, so good, right? Are you all with me? Are you all on the page? Okay. I want you all to chat. I want you all to answer once in a while so that I know that you all are there out there. Okay. Now let's move further.